Welcome to People Potential with Amanda. Thank you for listening in today. I'm your host, Amanda Flasing, and I'll be bringing on various experts to discuss empowering individuals and organizations to achieve their full potential. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of People Potential with Amanda. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce my guest, Beatrice Affaki, who is a business coach. Welcome, Beatrice. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Amanda. I'm really happy to be here.
Beatrice, can you tell us a little about yourself to introduce who you are to our audience?
Okay, great. So I started about 12 years ago in HR. I started my career as an HR consultant, and I worked in an HR consulting firm where I implemented HR departments in different companies from different industries. And then afterwards, I worked as an HR director. In 2015, when I was working as an HR consultant, I had a few mandates in coaching. My boss at the time, she introduced me to coaching, career coaching, coaching professionals on different areas of work. And I remembered I just fell in love with coaching, and I wanted to inquire some more. So I did my executive MBA, and after my executive MBA, I decided to do a certification in coaching. And then I got my certification and started coaching in 2015 in parallel to working in HR. So that's how I became. And then I became a member of the ICF, the International Coaching Federation. And then I got my title. And I've been working as a coach now ever since.
So how did you figure out that you wanted to become a coach? So you had so much experience in HR as an executive, as part of a leadership team. Then you went and got your executive MBA. So what made you switch into becoming a coach?
You know what? I loved HR. It was something that I liked doing. I was good at it. I really worked many, many years in HR. But when I was coaching, I felt like a fish in the water. I felt like it was coming naturally to me. It was something that it was not work. It was something that I was doing. Like it was I was such at ease when I was coaching, and I loved it. So I really, really wanted to work in that, and also it was something that it provided me with flexibility. It provided me with contributing directly to people, changing people's their work and experience. So it really felt amazing for me. So that's why I decided to continue in this path.
So how did you zero in on your niche? So I know you specialized in business coaching. So how do you figure out that it was business coaching that was the right fit for you? And how did you find those first people that needed your help?
So I specialized in business coaching because I worked in HR. So my clients were professionals. So it actually came very naturally. And so my niche, so now I have two types of clients. And it's really with word of mouth. I was referred initially by some of the people that I worked with. And so I work with corporations, companies who want to develop their employees that are high potential at any level of the organizational chart. It's no longer just for leaders. It's really for all types of employees. I work with them at helping them develop in their career, developing some skills. And I also work directly with professionals who come in and meet with me for certain areas in business coaching as well. So it could be entrepreneurs, it could be for their career, meaning which path to take. It could be also to get to the next level, a job that to the next level in the organization. So it's for different types.
Yeah, absolutely. Even myself, I often feel like I could use a coach who could help guide me. Is it a coach or a mentor? But like someone with a coaching capability and a coaching background and a certification that has the toolkit could sometimes help you much more than a mentor. Like it's a different kind of help. But when you have a coach, you have a sounding board and then you're accountable to someone else, but it's not your boss. So you can really go into different types of details. And personal life and business life are so blended. So you probably end up coaching on the two and helping someone move forward towards achieving their objectives, whether it be for the person themselves or to help the company help their talent continuously improve.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's change gears and go into some setbacks that you might have had on your
Oof.
journey while
Yeah.
becoming a coach, because every career change or every new career that you go into, of course, it's wonderful, but there are always some bumps in the roads. As we climb that mountain, there's, you know,
Yes,
it's not a straight line
absolutely.
up.
No, it isn't. So yes, at the beginning I had some setbacks because when I discovered that I loved coaching, I thought, oh my God, I love it so much that it's going to be so easy. It's going to be so easy to get some clients, develop my business. But then I realized when I became a coach that when I used to when I work in a company, marketing is done, accounting, you have teams that take care of all of these things. But then here I was left on my own. And to be honest, social media, networking, it's not my strength. It doesn't come naturally to me. It's an effort. It's really difficult for me. So I realized that I felt stuck and I jumped into it. I didn't plan, like, you really need to sit down and start planning. So I didn't have a solid foundation where I really took it a step back, and because I was so eager to start, and I had such a vision that anyway, so when I started, I felt a little stuck, and I took on a lot of things instead of delegating or outsourcing some of the things I was not as good at. So it's at the beginning it was a hard start, and I spent money on strategies that didn't necessarily bring me a lot of value instead of thinking about it before. But yeah, at the beginning I was definitely a lot of challenges.
Well, it's for sure we all learn as we go, especially as solopreneurs or entrepreneurs and starting a new venture.
Yeah,
Can't know what you don't know yet. And those
yeah,
best, like you don't fail, you just keep learning and improving. And then I love the idea of outsourcing what might not be your strength so that you could continue to spend your time on what you're strongest at and like really maximize that time. So outsourcing, let's say sales, marketing,
yeah.
accounting, IT, like there are so many different functions that at first you have to do them all and come up with like an MVP, so the minimum viable product to get yourself out there. And then I would say like once you're making enough money, if you don't want to invest before you have some capital from your coaching, you could go out with that first product and then continuously improve and develop and outsource different elements that might not be your specialty. Um,
Hmm.
I know that when I was running my own small business, I definitely outsourced accounting. So I would find the tools that are great, so like QuickBooks, easy, you can match everything. But at the end of the year for the taxes, I was not trying to do my taxes myself. I rather spend the time on marketing, which is my personal strength, and also meeting with clients. I loved talking to clients, meeting with clients, making sure they have the right product or solution, and being there in the day to day. So it's really like evaluating what are your strengths and what are some areas that you could outsource. And then, like you said, planning, um, making that business
Yeah,
plan
yeah.
is a big one. I know having applying for grants as small businesses, it does force you to make that business plan, and then you can have people consult on it. So that's a tip that I'm happy to share because I found that really helped me. It forced me to organize and really create that whole business plan. So put that MBA or that business education to use. But even if you don't have that, Google is your best friend. There are so
Yeah.
many business plan templates out there. I think there's one on Canva that's pretty great. I'm not advertising for them, but there are all kinds of
Yeah.
resources online that new entrepreneurs can take advantage of.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Beatrice, I know that you use Successfinder, and how has it helped you achieve your goals when it comes to helping your clients?
Well, my goal as a coach, my ultimate goal is to bring the most value to my clients in the most efficient way. So when I start coaching, I need to gather a lot of information. And so I need to understand what my clients' preferences are, what their abilities, like what they want, and we build objectives afterwards, and then an action plan. So when you start the coaching session, the process with a success finder assessment, well, first of all, it provides you with a report that has so much information. So already from the get-go, I meet my client and I have so much information on their behavioral preferences and what comes naturally to them when they're dealing with like problem solving, when they're dealing at work with other people or in chaotic environments, what comes naturally to them. So it's amazing because we can put all our efforts in the right direction, in the right thing, so that we can maximize success. So that is really helpful for that when you're developing someone who wants to get to the next level as well. So you even have the option to look at the degree in which like a client is a fit with their own role right now, and see what do they need to get to the next level. So you have so much information that is so valuable. So when I meet up with my client in the first session, we do a whole debrief and we're able to go over the information and base ourselves on that. So then the objectives that we set, our action plan, they're all aligned, and it's efficient at the end. You get a lot more value.
Yeah, absolutely. And it backs everything that you're saying with the data. So like what they answered in the questionnaire, and they can't game it. It's a forced choice, 340
Yeah.
questions. So there's really no way to cheat. And sometimes it's
Yeah.
difficult choices. And it really brings out like, how will someone again and again behave in certain situations? How do they problem solve? How do they react under stress? What motivates them? And so as a coach, like it opens that black box of
Yeah.
sorts, like right away, and you can dive into things with your client. And then what I also find cool is you can revisit the
Yes.
reports and like customize them as you go throughout the journey. So maybe you don't start with everything right away, but as you go, you could see what's the fit with different types of roles, what's the fit with the leadership framework that we have, and dive into that over several sessions, um, or come back to it, after several months to see like how are we progressing, and how or let's say you're getting ready for another career move. Well, then what's the fit with that next level
Yeah.
of leadership, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. And some and clients in general, or people, we all have our blind spots. So it's we don't know what we don't know, right? Sometimes, so there's information. So this provides us with a lot more information from the get-go, from the start. So it helps us avoid those blind spots or fill
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes some people don't even have that self-awareness or self-understanding, where they might not have told you some aspects
Mhm.
of their behavioral profile or how they'll react to things. So um, thing you uncover natural preferences right away versus having to really dig them out into a lot of introspection, which would be difficult for some. So many ways to use Success Finder. Of course, I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
So for those who are listening and hesitant on starting a coaching business, what piece of advice would you give to them to take that leap?
I mean, the first advice I would say is build a strong foundation, in the sense that I know it, people were so excited. We want to move forward. I think before is just really taking a step back, really looking at, like, analyzing become self-aware of what's our strength, what are weaknesses, or things that come like less naturally to us, what takes more effort. Um, you need to identify also what kind of coach you want to be. What do you specialize in? What comes easily? Always start with something that's easy for you. Like, I started my career when I did coaching, it was interview coaching, because it was something I was so good at, because I was in HR. So for me, coaching people to be in interviews, when for them it's the most stressful moment in their lives, because they want to get that job. So for me, I used to coach them in that, and it built my confidence too, and it built my clientele, and it was just I started with what was easy for me, what came naturally as well, and then you build from there. So I would say to really look at what you're specialized in as well, what comes naturally, and who you want to be as a coach, and have a strategy, a plan, where you want to invest your money, where do you want to outsource, what do you want to outsource, are you good in social media, are you good in accounting, like we were discussing, because a coach could be good in social media as well. So it's really just looking at yourself, making a plan, and make sure that to follow it, and take your time.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. We're often we make wonderful plans and we have a great strategy, and then sometimes we'll forget to go back and see how are we progressing
Yeah.
against that plan. Our weekly objectives, are they met, monthly, quarterly, etc. And then, of course, you'll have to make adjustments and optimize and see what's working, what's not, how should we change it. And advice I would give to new coaches is to really just keep going. It's
Yeah.
consistency, consistency, consistency. Just keep at it every single day. Don't get discouraged. And from the marketing perspective, put yourself out there. I know it's uncomfortable for many, but put yourself out there on social media. Social media is the great it's the great equalizer. So anyone can put themselves out there on social media, shoot little videos, write little pieces of content, and express themselves. And the more you practice, the better you will get. So it's the same consistency, practice, put yourself out there. And I
Mm.
think a lot of coaches, they love to help others, but they might be uncomfortable putting themselves first and putting themselves forward. So it's really just practice. And at first, like, no one's looking at you at first. You feel like the eyes of the world are on you. You don't have, not all your followers will see all your videos. So just keep going and you will keep improving. And by the time you get to your 10th video, you'll have more and more followers and you'll keep getting better and better. And it will really pay off.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Beatrice, I have a final signature question for you for this podcast.
Yeah.
So, how do you unlock your own potential?
Okay. So I'm sure, if I'll tell you generally how I would unlock potential, and then I'll give you examples of myself. I think that the first thing that needs to be done, and I did it all the time. I'm my first client, to be honest, um, is to really look at yourself and understand, like, just really analyze, what are your values? What's important to you in life? Why are things that important to you in life? What are your priorities? And it seems like an easy exercise, but it really isn't, because I feel like we've been molded by our culture, society, trying to fit in, so our whole life, like, we kind of build this persona. So to do the exercise is really trying to really dig in and see, what do we want? And once you do start understanding yourself, it's to look at your life in general and see if the decisions you've made in your life, is it aligned with the values and your truth, your own truth. And then afterwards, it's really to find just build what you want. Look at the areas in your life and see, what do you really, really want in your life? So then start building that, and whatever is limiting you, try to find the means or ways to just overcome that. And coaching really helps a lot. But I mean, there's other ways. Coaching is not for everyone necessarily, in the sense that you can read books, you can do a lot of things to move forward. But with my clients, it's to really look at what's stopping them, and build an action plan to move beyond it and really get the results that they want. And for myself, I mean, my values, it's contribution. My values, for me, what's important is contributing, and it's really doing what I love. I want it to be easy. I don't want work to be work, work, work. I really want to enjoy what I do, and I need the flexibility. I can work many, many hours in a week, but I love my flexibility, and my family is super important. Like, for me, getting my son at daycare earlier, not at too late, is important to me. So the choices I've made in my life, they are a reflection, like they reflect my values, because I do go pick up my son early. I found a career that I love doing, and I'm really trying to spend as much time as I can with my son, and to contribute as much and bring as much value as I can to my client. So it's really finding that balance, but doing the work. And it's, it takes a lot of looking within, and taking action in your life.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you for sharing with us the beauty of introspection, understanding what matters to you, what could be limiting beliefs, what are your values. Um, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you for being on the podcast today. It was wonderful to have you. And I'm really looking forward to our audience being able to hear all your wonderful insights.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us on People Potential with Amanda. I appreciate each and every single listen and view. If you've enjoyed this content, it would really mean the world if you could leave us a 5-star review. This will make a huge impact in increasing the visibility of this podcast, on top of brightening the day of a few people here at Successfinder who work really hard behind the scenes to make this all happen. We're continuously working on new episodes, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. Until next time, stay curious.